Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, we are going to be talking about Poshmark again. As you guys are probably familiar by now, I do part-time reselling on Poshmark. I've been doing it for about 6 months now, so I'm still very new at it, but I have been getting more and more active on my Poshmark, and I currently have almost 400 active listings, so it is becoming a bigger piece of what I do day in and day out. I spend quite a bit of time on my Poshmark working on it and trying to add new listings and refine things. So I do have some tips and some tricks that I wanted to share with you guys today, specifically on how I share my closet on Poshmark and what my sharing strategy is and all of that. So if you guys want to see more, keep on watching. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I do all kinds of videos here on my channel. Most of them are beauty and lifestyle videos, but I do like to sprinkle in videos about my Poshmark business here and there as well. So if you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future postings. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. I have a few different tips. I am gonna be showing you guys some actual footage as well of how I do the sharing as we talk, so that should be kind of over the top of this video. But first of all, before I talk about that, just a real quick overview of what sharing is on Poshmark, because some of you might be really new to it and might not really understand how important sharing is. What Poshmark, the platform Poshmark, is so much like a cross between like an eBay and like Instagram. So it is very highly driven by interactions, like a social media platform. So the more active you are, the better the algorithm will rank your listings, which will get them more views, which will get you more sales. So you do actually have to put in effort after the initial listing, whereas, you know, with eBay, you can just post something and just leave it and, you know, check on it, of course, to see how it's doing, but you don't really have to market after that. eBay does all of the work for you after your initial post. Well, that's not how it works with Poshmark. If you don't touch your listings after you list them, if you just kind of leave them there and don't do anything, it's gonna take a really long time for those items to sell. The reason is when someone searches for an item, let's say they're searching for a pair of Gap jeans. They type in the search engine Gap jeans. What's gonna come up first on the search engine is not the newest listing, it's the most recent shared listing. So if you're actively sharing your closet all the time, it's gonna show up higher on those search results. If you don't, it's gonna fall near to the bottom of the search results, which would mean, especially for an item like Gap jeans, where there's probably thousands listed, if you're not near the top of the search results, you're probably not going to have that item be seen by enough people for it to be sold. When I first started selling on Poshmark a few years ago, I was just reselling things my kids had outgrown and things that I didn't want anymore. So, you know, I had maybe 10 to 20 active listings at a time, and I would list them and never share them. And I would just kind of leave them there. And it would take months and months for things to sell. Now that I understand Poshmark a little bit more and I'm actively sharing my listings, I am making multiple sales a day. So that is, well, most days, not every day. So that is really does make a big difference. Obviously, how many listings you have in your closet and whether or not they're items people are interested in purchasing is gonna make a big difference, whether or not they sell as well. But if your item can't get seen, no one's gonna buy it. So that is why sharing is so important on Poshmark, and there are two kinds of sharing. You can either just share your own items, or you can share items from other people's closets as well. If a share happens from someone other than yourself, it doesn't bump those items up to the top of the search results. What it does is it shares it with all of the people following you. So you do have followers on Poshmark just like any other social media platform. And let's say you have 30,000 followers there. If you share an item from someone else's closet, all of your 30,000 followers who are on the Poshmark app will see that listing that you just shared. So that's why sharing other people's listings does actually help them, because it gets fresh eyes on the item. They might get some new likes, they might get some new shares from that. So sharing for other people does help. And one of the nice things about sharing other people's listings is a lot of times people will share back your listings, and then your listings get seen by a whole bunch of new eyes, new fresh eyes as well. So it does actually help to do community sharing. I have heard from a lot of people here on YouTube when I've been watching other people's videos about their their sharing strategies. I've heard a lot of people say that sharing other people's closets doesn't help you, and I disagree. I find that when I get really busy and I only share my own listings and I forego sharing other people's listings, I definitely notice my sales are slower, and I think it's for a couple reasons. Like I said, when you get shares from other people, it gives you it gives fresh eyes looking at your items. It doesn't necessarily bump you up in the search results, so it's not as good as sharing your own, but it does still help you. And also, it does help the algorithm. So Poshmark hasn't publicly shown what their algorithm is, but I have noticed when you are actively doing all the different things that Poshmark wants you to do, you will show up higher in the suggested users, so you'll get more followers. So what the things that are most important that Poshmark wants to see you doing in order to bump you up in the search algorithm is definitely sharing items, both your own items and other people's items. I'm pretty sure they want to see both, as well as following new people and liking and commenting. So trying to do as much of that as you can. I really focus on the sharing. I think the sharing is the biggest key. So depending on how much time you have to allot, I personally am extremely busy as a single mom with 3 kids, working from home, running my YouTube business as well as this Poshmark business, and I'm expecting a baby. So I have a lot of balls in the air right now. So to be honest, I don't have time every day to do all these things, but when I do have time, I try to make sure that I get it done. So let's talk about the sharing. So my sharing strategy personally is I definitely have to share my closet at least twice a day. Now, there are days where that just doesn't happen. Like yesterday, for example, was a crazy mom day. One of those days where you have all these errands to run for your kids. We had doctor appointments, we had to pick up medicine. It was just a crazy day, and I did not have time to share my closet. I think I shared half my closet yesterday, and that was it. And that's all I had time for, and that's okay. But when I can, I try to share my closet at least twice a day. If I have the time, I do go for 3 times a day. I always share my closet first thing when I wake up. And the reason I like to share it right when I wake up is usually I'll have sales from later in the afternoon, the day before, or overnight from the night before that I like to sort to the bottom of my closet. So the way that I have my closet set up, I do have a listing that says everything past this listing has sold, and I like to keep everything sold below that. Now obviously I have to share my whole closet to get it to fall down to the bottom. That's how it works. So I don't do it every single time I make a sale, but whenever I'm doing a full share of my closet, I make sure to share that listing as well. So any sold items fall then below that. The reason I like to have it sorted that way, where my sold listings are under that little flag basically, is so that when someone is shopping my closet, if they're building a bundle or something and they're shopping through my whole closet, I have a lot of active listings. So once you get to that point and you're searching through, you don't want to have to keep looking down to see if everything is sold. So having that little listing that says everything past this has sold is helpful for people, I think. I know personally when I'm shopping other people's closets and I've seen that, it's helpful for me because I like building bundles when I'm shopping personally. I like getting that additional percentage off and saving on shipping by ordering more than one item. So I'll search through someone's whole closet to make sure that I get the best bundle, exactly what I want in a bundle. And it's just helpful that all of the sold listings are sorted to the bottom, so you don't have to be looking through oh, is this available? Is it not available? It just makes it a lot more streamlined, and I think it looks more professional. So I do that first initial share in the morning. If I have time, I do share sometime in the middle of the day. Sometimes when I'm waiting for my kids at the school, I have 20 minutes that I have to sit in the parking lot waiting for them to come out. Usually I'll do it then on school days, and then not school days I might not share the second share. And then I always try to share one last time before bed. And that definitely helps to keep your listings fresh so that they're always near the top of the search results. Of course, depending on how many items are available similar to yours and how often the other people are sharing them, it's going to make a difference, but at least you're closer to the top if you're sharing frequently. And then what I also like to do, like I said, I like to share other people's listings. So Sharing can get very tedious, you guys. It is a very tedious job. Most of the time I don't share from my phone. The only time I share from my phone is when I first wake up in the morning, because I like to do it downstairs when the kids are still sleeping and I'm having my morning coffee. I will share my closet while I'm having breakfast and my cup of coffee in the morning. So because of that, I do it from my phone, but it definitely takes longer. So I like to share from my desktop when I can, because you can do it a lot faster. There's less clicks and less processing time, so it makes it a quicker process. And what I really like to do to make it fun, I turned it into a little game, because I get super bored sharing and I find myself trying to cut it off early if I don't make a game out of it. So one thing that I've noticed that works really well is sharing some of my own listings in a grouping, and then jumping over and sharing other people's listings, and then coming back and sharing my own listings, and really mixing it up instead of just doing like a blanket share of all my own listings and then going and sharing a ton of other people's listings. If I kind of jump back and forth, first of all, it breaks it up so it's not as tedious for me, but second of all, it also does seem to really kickstart a lot of activity. And so I'll notice a lot more notifications, whether they're likes, shares, follows. I get a lot more notifications during the time that I'm doing that. So I like to do this at least a couple times a week, and usually it's my afternoon shares. So I'll take a break from editing videos or whatever else I have going on, and I'll just do this. And what I do, I can't show you guys exactly because for copyright reasons, I can't turn on the music. But what I like to do is I always have my Pandora on when I'm working at my computer. So I'll go to Pandora, have it open, and then basically for the length of a song, I share. So one song, I'll be sharing my closet, and I start from the bottom always so that my listings stay in order. So I start from the bottom, I start sharing my listings. Once the song ends, I jump over to my homepage, which has all of the like recent shares or recent listings from people who I follow, and I just go from there and I start sharing down in a downward pattern and until that song ends. And then when a new song begins, I jump back to my closet, and I basically do that back and forth until I get all the way to the top of my closet. And once everything in my closet has been shared, then I kind of end the game. Now, it does take me a lot longer to do it that way than to just go through and share my whole closet, but it helps to kind of break it up. It makes it a little bit more fun, and it's kind of always interesting to see how many songs it's gonna take to get through that whole process. I have a lot of listings, so it takes me a long time to do this, but I definitely find it works better when I'm mixing up the shares instead of just doing a blanket share of one or the other. So that's something I've found is helpful for me. If you guys try it and you like it, let me know. Then I always wait until after I'm done with my whole sharing process. So once I get through my whole closet and once I get through my whole closet and I've shared in between with other people's listings, then I go through my notifications and see what kind of activity I've had. Sometimes that will generate a sale, sometimes it will just generate some new likes, but either way, it's always very successful. So I definitely recommend trying that if you have a lot of listings in your closet. I think it's a fun way to make it into a little game and make it a little less boring. But as I mentioned, I definitely recommend sharing from your computer or laptop. So much faster than sharing from a phone or iPad. So that is something I highly recommend. Oh, and then one other tip that I could give you guys about increasing your sales and just basically increasing your activity on Poshmark and getting more notifications. It doesn't always lead to a sale, but anytime you see that little number on your notifications go up, whether it's new follows or new shares from other closets, it's always a good thing. Any activity is a good thing. But another recommendation I have is to follow new closets. It's very helpful to have more people to follow because first of all, it will give you more activity on your activity page so that when you're sharing other people, it's a very quick, easy place to go to share a whole bunch of listings all at once. And because you're sharing from your homepage, you know those people are active on the platform right now, so you're likely to get a share back from those people rather than just randomly searching things that maybe haven't been shared in a while. Those people are probably not currently on the app and you might not get a follow back or a share back. So I always like to do my shares from that homepage, but the best way I've found for finding new people to follow, you could go to, and I like to do this from my phone. I find it a bit easier than doing it from the desktop. There's certain things that are easier on the desktop and certain things that are easier from the app. I don't know. I feel like it should be a little more uniform, but it's not. But I like doing this from my phone. There's two places I go to find new people to follow. There's the recommended ambassadors, and I sometimes will follow from there. And the other place I like to go is there's a little button on the home page or the feed page that has like a little person's silhouette with a plus sign. If you click on that, you can go here to find people. I go to the top where it says My Brands, and when you select that, it will show you all the brands that you've either recently searched for or brands that you have actively in your closet. So find a brand that you sell a lot of or something you have a lot of in your closet. For me, it's Loft right now. I have a lot of Loft. I don't know what's going on with that. I bought a lot of Loft. So if you go under Loft, you can see a bunch of people who also have Loft in their closet. Now it will first show you the trending closets. So these are people who Poshmark is basically got at the top of their algorithm. So these are people who are really active on the app. They're sharing a lot, they're following a lot, they're really doing a lot. So, you know, what I like to do is follow like the first 20 of these, and then I will sort by active sellers and do like 20 of those, and then just joined and do like 20 of those. And I do that like once a day. I'll pick a brand and just do that and just follow a bunch of random people that way. And I definitely feel like it helps a lot, especially the new follower or the new to Poshmark people. I find those ones are more likely to follow back because they don't have a big following yet. So they're trying to build up their base following, so they're likely to follow back. But anyway, that is all the little tips and tricks that I have for you guys today. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I would love to hear what are your strategies for sharing your closet. How do you make it a little bit more fun? It is such a tedious thing, you guys. Like, it's not hard work. Like, by no means is it hard work. And I have 400 listings, and if I were to just go through and share the whole thing, it only takes me maybe 20 minutes. So it's not a lot of time, because I do have a lot of listings. That's why it takes so long, but it doesn't take a massive amount of time, but it's just such a boring process that it can get a little tedious. So let me know what your guys' strategies are. What kind of tips do you have? And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.